Good morning, everybody, and Happy New Year. Welcome to our first episode of Binge Live for 2022. Still not sure I can get used to saying that, but that's another story. Not good with numbers. Maybe it's math, maybe it's just me. I'm wondering how many other people are feeling weird about the whole new year starting, and hope everybody is excited for the year. So this is our first episode of Binge Live for the year, and this one is going to be very bittersweet, as our guest today is the current president and CEO, Christina Davis. But unfortunately, we are entering her final time as president and CEO. So I thought this would be a great week to have her on, so we can kind of do a recap of everything that's gone on and where she's going to next, and kind of say a fond farewell. And Chester is over here moaning for some reason. So anyway, Christina, why don't you come on out and let's get this show on the road. Good morning.
Hey.
How are
Hello.
you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. You too.
And you're a New Year baby. Happy belated birthday.
Freaky, isn't it? I know. I made it December 31st, just under the wire for my parents to get the tax deduction. So they're very happy about that. It's all about the money. It's all about the taxes. We all know that.
Well, I know you just turned 21, so you got to drink for the first time. Congratulations.
But I could finally drink legally. So that was a very good thing,
Congratulations. Cheers to you.
So how are you?
I am well, thank you. As you said in your intro, this is a bittersweet time for me. This is I'm in the last 6 days of my employment.
It's we're all bittersweet. It's not just about you.
Well, we are in the final push. My office is now going to be, I'm slowly taking things off my board, packing up my stuff, getting ready for the transition. I'm really excited that Chad Mender is going to be taking over as the CEO of the chamber. Chad and I worked together for 15 years. At first when he was with the YMCA, and I was on the board there, and I started to work with him and then became a mentor to Chad through his career. And then when we had the opportunity to hire someone and Chad and I met, we just thought we'd always wanted to work together professionally, and we just thought it was a great opportunity to finally have that chance. So we brought him on to work for the chamber. And in the back of my mind, I knew that I wasn't going to be here forever. And so I thought to myself, if I ever were to leave, Chad would be a really wonderful replacement. He understands community. He's such a good leader. So I was really excited about a possible succession plan, and it all worked out. It was all in the cards. So I'm really excited about that.
But now, and I think this is fantastic. I think Chad is going to be awesome. I really do. He's a wonderful person. I think everybody who knows Chad just loves him. He's kind of like your brother. You just kind of, yeah. And we'll get to that in a minute. So 17 years you've been with the chamber. First of all, I want to know, how did you get involved? What was your introduction to being with the LAX Coastal?
So I worked for it actually started, I worked for a security company. I worked for Gwen Buches, who had a security company, and I was the receptionist.
I was hoping you were going to say security guard, because
no, I was not. I've never been a security guard. I have gone on undercover assignments because they also had a private investigative firm, and we could talk about that. Those were fun. I'm a terrible liar. So
I can't see this working out very well.
It did not work out well, but let me just say that. But I worked for Gwen, and she was on the board of the chamber. Actually, and even if I go even farther back, Gwen worked for my father. And my father had an insurance agency, and he had an executive suite where he shared with a bunch of people. And my dad's secretary, or his receptionist, called out sick, and I was in college, and my dad asked me to come in and be the part-time receptionist just for a couple days. And I went in there, and I didn't, skip a beat. I answered the phone. I was super happy, and I transferred the calls. I never dropped one call. And after the day ended, it was like 5 o'clock in the evening. All the people that worked at the executive suite were like, "You were so good. You didn't drop one call all day." And it's like, our clients were like, "Wow, who's answering your phone?" And so then they wanted to hire me to be their receptionist. And I ended up working for them while going to college. And Gwen was working with the chamber. So I started to learn about the chamber at that point, and the networking things. I mean, I wasn't know about it. And my dad was involved in Rotary in the chamber, but I didn't, I was 19. I didn't think about it. That was my first introduction to the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, so 17 years in, I mean, obviously you've done a lot. We'll say that, or at least I would assume 17 years you've probably done a lot. I think that's
I've done a few things, just a
a
few.
safe assumption.
Yep.
Looking back, what would you say is one of your biggest personal achievements where you just kind of step back and be like, holy crap, we did it.
Oh, and you know what? This actually could make me cry. So
Yes. Cheers. This is
yeah,
our Barbara Walters segment.
yeah, what's the most amazing is the people. The people are the most amazing part of it. It's like anything that I've done and accomplished has been because of the work of people that I've had the opportunity to work with. And I think about, when I started, I was hired as a CEO. I was 29 years old. I had no clue what I was doing. But
Maybe.
I brought on my first employee, and she had worked with me at the YMCA, and she was a single mom, 2 kids. Actually, her son is back there on my wall as a picture of them. And I brought her in and trained her, showed her how to work. She's now very successful. Claudia, I'm talking about you. She's now very successful. And I'm so proud that I was a mentor to her. And then after that, I brought on Ashley Diestel, who's fabulous. She has an amazing job, and she's married now and has a son, and also uber successful. I just think about all these people that have come in to work with me as either young business leaders or young professionals, or just even to work with me, and how inspired we have been by each other, and how we've watched each other grow over the years, from being a young professional to being a mom, to all these segments of your life, right? And watching them grow as people has been really fantastic and amazing. And that's just my staff. I talk about Chamberlain and Rachel Horning, and I mean, there's so many amazing people that I've had Kirby, that I've had the opportunity to work with, and it's been such a it's been the most soul-filling part of my job. And then we talk about the volunteers, the board chairs, and the volunteers that have, sat in and done Binge Live. Joel, you are very special to me, and our education community, the principals. I mean, all these people that just work together as this perfect mosaic to build this beautiful community that we've built. That is just by far the most meaningful thing to me. And it's been a fabulous journey.
But now, okay, so this is, we're going to get sappy. We're going to get sappy here for a little bit.
I don't
Get
have
the tissues
tissues.
out.
This is a problem.
Because this was my first, LAX Coast was my intro to chamber, or to being in a chamber altogether. And Kelly was the first person that I ever met. And I adore Kelly. I think everybody knows that.
Kelly's fantastic. Fantastic.
But and we've talked a lot about this, you and I personally, as well as on these episodes, and in the various other things that you do, whether it's leadership or whatever. The past year was about your community and the structure that you want to have within your organization, and how can you unfreeze it and start something new if you want to. And one thing which I'm hoping, because I think you danced around it without actually saying it, you created this, what a lot of us are experiencing from the chamber, and how it kind of really is a second family to a lot of us, starts with you. These are the people that you brought in, and you created this atmosphere. And so I'm hoping that you take that to heart, and that you know how much you've done for us, whether it's personally or professionally, what you have created here over your 17 years, because it does, let's be honest, it's going to start with you. You are the one responsible for this, whether you want to admit it or not, or own up to it. You created something that we all could be proud of and enjoy being a member of. And I personally want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. Like, I mean, it means the world. Yeah, get ready. I told you. But seriously, I mean,
Get my tissue.
But you did. You genuinely did. And you're such an awesome person. And the organization that you created with this crew, and I know that this crew is going to continue in the same vein, with that same, what's the word I'm looking for here? Structure, as far as like being in family and friendships, started with you. Like, we all know it because of you. And so
Thank you.
I mean,
That's very meaningful to me. I don't think, looking back on my career here, I don't think I ever understood, when I took the job, my initial thought was just this. Wow, this will look great on my resume. That was the only thought I had. I didn't think about what leadership meant. I didn't think about the role that I played or the impact I could have. Now, I will say this, my mantra is to be, and my father says this to me all the time, so he has ingrained this in my head, to be a positive force in the universe. Like that is my thing. And so, I live that. And so I think that comes very naturally to me. I want to be a positive force. I want to be giving back. I believe that when you give, it comes back to you. And so I think some of these things are just part of who I am. But I didn't go into this with any expectations or any, like, I'm going to, I never liked being in a position of leadership, to be very honest with you. I said it in one of our binge lives. I always liked, number 2 was always the ideal spot. I like elevating other people to be successful, and I like being the assist. And I think that's sort of how I've played my position of leadership in the chamber. My chairman of the board, making sure that they felt supported and elevated, and my volunteers, making sure they felt supported and elevated. And then what happened, as I said, is this give and take, is that when I supported my volunteers, they returned that support to me. And that might have come through introductions of other people. That might have come through financial support. That might have come through creative support. Here's some ideas that I have that I think will really elevate this organization. But they became very vested in the growth because we were working to support each other. And so that was organic. That was not anything other than just an organic experience.
But that kind of says also comes from just who you are as a person, because it's not like you took this whole thing, as you were saying, it wasn't about, oh, just give me the power, I'm going to run this. I mean, you are a cult leader, which is fine.
I am a cult leader. I am. It's interesting because I was just telling my staff yesterday, we had lunch. Judith just celebrated her 10-year anniversary of the chamber. And really interesting fun fact, not only is it her 10-year anniversary with the chamber consecutively, but she started working for the chamber in 1993 and worked there till 2003. So this is actually her 20-year anniversary with the chamber. So she has a different perspective of sort of how the chamber has grown in the continuum of the chamber. But in talking to my staff, I was sharing with them that when I was hired, I think when I was hired, I don't think anyone really, I don't think they didn't think I could do it, but I don't think they thought that I would do a great job. I think they thought I would be good.
Yeah, we filler.
But one of the things that I heard in my younger years was like, you need to, like, top down CEO, like you need to sit on the top, you need to be at these events, and you need to be like telling your staff what to do. And I started out as a receptionist. I always hated, if any of my old bosses are listening, although the ones that would be listening were wonderful bosses, just so you know. Jeff and Gwen, I'm talking to you. But I always hated top-down leadership. I always hated being told what to do. I always hated the person that sat in the chair and watched me do the work. I was inspired by the leader that rolled up their sleeves and got in there with me. And it made me want to work that much harder. And so that's always been how I've played the role of CEO. But I will say there was a lot of people that thought that I should be in a business suit and be this CEO that I think that you see the picture of, or
But
and that was never going to be me.
And I think that's an antiquated version of what a CEO or a leader is, because the leader is somebody who, the reality is, the saying "lead by example" is really based in reality. I mean, you don't just sit there and be like, I'm delegating this to you, and you do this and you do this. It's like, no, we're going to do this together, but then I'm going to have to go do something else. You're going to take it over. That's what a leader does, is you create a team.
Well, and mentoring my team, like, wow, if it weren't for my team, if it weren't for, Kirby and Chamberlain and Rachel Horning and, Chad and Kelly and Judith and all these amazing people, we wouldn't have some of the amazing programming we have through the chamber. I think about the Power Hour, which is our corporate partner structure. That was all Chamberlain. That had nothing to do with me. He just came to me and said, we should probably do like an executive level. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea. And I might have made it a little bit bigger and
Right.
tweaked it, but that was his idea. Now I let him run with it, and we were never afraid to fail. And if we failed, we learned from it.
Exactly.
And the co-working space, that was all Rachel Horning. She brought the co-working concept to me and I was like, that's crazy. Let's do it. And then we started doing the research around it. But I always told my team, like, own it, get in there, give me your ideas and own it. Let's do it together. And so I loved it.
Well, especially for what this is. I mean, this is a chamber organization. This is meant to be about people working together. And you allow the membership to be, and even your staff, to get the membership involved. It's not just about saying, oh, we're the chamber, we will tell you what we will be doing. No, let's get the membership involved. Let's let them know that they're a part of something, not just an organization. You don't just pay your dues and peace out. Thanks for the money. We'll see you next year. But let's do the co-working space.
Listen, I've been part of organizations. I've sat on boards where I feel like I'm just a number in a room and I serve no real purpose.
Yeah.
I'm just there. And that's not a valuable, I don't feel mission driven by it. I don't feel like I'm being of service. I don't feel good about it. I feel like I'm just there and I'm not here to just be there. I've got better things to do. So I do. I really do. I mean, I should. How's that? I should have better things to do.
That sounds better. Okay.
But I want you to feel like, because it is true, and I say this, I want you to feel like your time matters, that your experience matters, because it does.
You want to feel like the purpose of the chamber, in my opinion, is that this is a community organization. You want to feel like you are a part of this community, that you are giving back, that you are a business leader in, whether you're a leader or not, but you're a business member of. You want to feel like you're a part of it. You don't want to just be like, okay, I opened up a shop. Now what? No, you have to be involved so people know you're there. And there's a give and take with being a member of the chamber, I think. And it's both sides. And you've been great about that. I mean, you let us try this, and here we are over a year into it.
I know, right?
Crazy.
Well, I'm always open to trying new things. I love to try new things. I love to be innovative. I can never imagine being in a role. And one of the things that worried me after year 10 of being here was that I would be complacent and that I would just get used to doing the same thing, because the chamber is very cyclical. We do the same thing. We do the 4th of July parade on July 4th at 11 a.m. on Loyola Boulevard. We do the annual meeting in September, and we do the state of LAX in November, and we have a holiday mixer in December. And it's just like you do the same thing over and over again. And it's very easy to not be innovative because you can just keep doing the same thing over and over again. And that's where I really have tried to listen to the members, get a pulse of what's going on, and then listening to my team, who many of them straight out of college. I was very blessed to get, really young, excited individuals that had a really different perspective. And that was important because if they felt, now I'm now in my late 40s, but one of the things for me that made me really not want to be part of the chamber was that I thought it was old. And no offense, because most of the people that were in there were probably my age now, but I wasn't talking about old and just age. I was talking about old and not being innovative, not being creative, not being, being very structured and very, I hate to say good old boys, but good old boys, like you had to look a certain way to fit into the chamber. If you didn't have the business suit on, I've got tattoos and my nose is pierced. I didn't feel like I fit into the chamber. And that's not the inclusive organization that exists today. You see everybody as part of this organization.
And let's be honest, there is a stereotype to what a chamber of commerce is. There just is. But I think it's about people getting to know what this actually means and to be a part of it. And I think, I had no freaking idea what the hell I was signing up for when I did this. But blew my expectations out of the water. Mind you, like I said, I didn't know. I didn't realize that I was joining a cult that I was going to be very happy to be a member of. But you know, what this has been for me is I've gotten an extended family now. I've met some of the
Or,
best people that I never would have had the opportunity to meet ever.
right?
And
Don't you love
I
that? I love that.
I know that
Uh,
I've made friends that I know I can call the second I needed anything, and not just for business. These are actual friends
Yep,
that we call and we check in on each other. We do refer business back and forth, but we really are friendship because that's where everything has to. That's your base for anything. I believe.
that's right. Well, and I think one of my board members said this to me. They said, I wanted to be part of this organization to support you and make this organization better. And I'm hearing that a lot right now. That is amazing. That feels so good. And I'm hearing that, I'm hearing that over and over again. And I say you want to get the organization is still the organization. That it's not changing, right? We're still this amazing organization. And now our job is to support Chad in
Yep.
this role and coach Chad up and support Chad because all of us being part of the chamber, the people are what make up the fabric of the chamber and the quality of the people that you get. And I just was with Lisa Schwab from Cantalini's down on Culver Boulevard in Playa del Rey.
Yeah.
Wonderful Italian food. But I was just with Lisa for her birthday, and she gave this great speech at her birthday talking about the tribe. And it's interesting because the people that were there in that room, she said, I've known people since I was a little girl, and they're my friends. But the people in this room are my tribe. We're the people that give back to the community. We're the people that are always there for each other. And I loved that. You say cult, I like tribe. It's more bohemian. It's got a little cooler vibe. But we are a tribe of people that are really working to better each other and better the community, and it's really amazing. It's amazing. And I want to talk about, because I know we only have 7 minutes left of our episode, but
We can
and
keep
it's
going.
gone by so fast. It's gone by so fast. We had launched into our strategic planning effort, and we started in August. And it was really about, and you had mentioned Lewin's model. We talked about the unfreezing of culture and how the pandemic really threw us into a whirlwind of how we operate as an organization. And we had already done a strategic plan in 2019 into 2020. And we were the outcome of it was like, we have a great organization. We just need to maximize all the tools that we have in this organization. And so then we decided that we were going to really put some effort behind the strategic planning initiative. So Joe Coleman, who's our incoming chairman of the board, is the chair. And then we hired Kevin Walsh from Global Community Enrichment, who is also our Leadership Academy person. And we started on this amazing journey together. And we surveyed our members and we did focus groups, and they did staff interviews and board interviews. And we are now at the end, like we are at the finish line. It's being presented to the executive board on Monday. It's being presented to the full board on the 20th, which I won't be here for. But what I think I'm so incredibly proud of, and we listened, right? The strategic plan didn't come from like me. It came from what our chamber members said, what our business community said. And I am so like over the moon thrilled with how it came out. And we have core values, and the core values are like exactly who I am as a person: trust and respect. I don't want to ruin it, but we talk about how we behave as an organization, and these core values just are so perfectly modeled after what this organization is. And then we talk about the strategic priorities, which changed a little bit, because in the beginning of this process, I was still the CEO, and now Chad's the CEO. And, Chad's got to take my 17 years of information in my brain and execute on it, and hire a team that is going to support him the same way that they've supported me. And so anyway, I think that what the strategic plan has done is it has captured and given us a blueprint to move forward, so that what you see from this organization is a continuous culture. Like, I might be gone. I'm not going to be far. I'm still a chamber member, but I might be gone. But this organization is so solid. The foundation is so strong. Our values are captured. Our mission is captured. Our vision is captured. Chad just has to take this now and run with it.
And he will.
And he's got the support of great people.
Yeah. So I do want to ask really quick. So looking back over 17 years, what's been the most, let's just ask, what was your most embarrassing time? Let's have some fun here. Like, there's got to be something we're like, going, oh, crap.
Embarrassing time. Well, I can tell you that I know what my sister's watching this.
Here we go. It's time for the story.
This might not even be funny to anybody but me, but we did a tourism forecast. It was probably like in 2010. And Carolyn Batetta, who's with the California Tourism Board, very big deal in California in tourism as a whole. But she comes down and she addresses our chamber, and I'm responsible for giving the welcoming. And she's doing an economic forecast, and you think forecast, I think weather. And this was like, I'm pretty new in public speaking, and I never enjoyed, to this day, I still don't enjoy public speaking. I get nervous. I mean, it gets easier, but I still don't love it. But so we go up and I do the introduction. And at the time, that movie, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, had just come out.
Love that movie.
Right? So cute, right? And so I thought I would be funny and tell a joke. So I stood up in front of this entire audience and said that Carolyn was going to give a forecast. And I hope it was going to be better than Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. And I expected a roar of laughter to come from the audience. And it was just like crickets. Nobody laughed. And I was like, long pause. Like, I might as well have been naked standing up there in front of everybody. But that was probably my most embarrassing moment. My sister laughed so hard because she was in the audience and she was like, oh my God, you like fell on your face right there.
She's like, I can't believe you actually did it. I was joking. I can't believe you did it.
She's like, can you run your jokes by me next time? And I was like, yeah, I think I will. I'm just not going to be, I'm not an overly funny person. So I'm just not going to tell jokes. That's not my thing.
That's pretty brilliant though, I gotta say.
Yeah. So that was embarrassing. I mean, I think any public speaking where you make a mistake, most of the time when we're in front of people, it's, it could be small groups, but it's usually like 100, 200, 300 people.
That's a good group. That's a good group.
So there's a lot of people that are remembering that. Well, actually, probably nobody remembers it. You're the one that's your toughest critic. Nobody thinks, no one's like, that girl that told that really bad joke at the beginning of that tourism forecast.
Although they are, anybody who's watching now go, oh, I've forgotten about that. Oh, yeah, they're going to be on like YouTube trying to find it somewhere. That would be awesome. So we're coming up to the very end. Tell us a little bit about, all right, I got to read this because this is a very long new position that we're going to here. Executive Director of the Gateway Los Angeles Property Business Improvement District.
Business Improvement District, yes.
That is a very long title to remember. I will say
well, it's called a BID, right? It's called a business improvement district, and it's a property business improvement district, which is a nuance to what a business improvement district is. But essentially, what I will be responsible for is the vitality of the community on Century Boulevard from LAX to the 405 freeway. And what that looks like, it could look like a lot of things, which I'm excited about. We haven't decided what it looks like, but what it could look like, or what it does look like now, is keeping the streets clean and safe. So we have an ambassador program, we have a maintenance program, we trim trees, we make sure the trash is cleaned up. As we talk about what the future of LAX looks like as we move forward, and we're very familiar with the fact that LAX is going through this major modernization program, the automated people movers coming in, our consolidated rental car facility, this is all in the backyard of my new job. And then we talk about SoFi Stadium and the entertainment district in Inglewood and how that's tying into like our local economy. And so my job will be to create a cohesive, vitalized business corridor along Century Boulevard, which is funded through tax assessments from all of the property owners on Century Boulevard. So they tax themselves to pay for us to operate this organization. And bids are all over the world. But in all over Los Angeles. We were just listed in the Business Journal this week. We are the 23rd, I believe, largest. I have my Business Journal right here, LA Business Journal. And they even made me the executive director already, and I haven't even started the job, which I thought was pretty cool. We're the 21st largest in Los Angeles County. And so it's really exciting. And I think there's a lot of opportunities for growth with everything happening. I think it's a really wonderful new step in my career. And as I said, I will still be involved in the chamber. I'll be a member, I'll be a sponsor, and I will be involved.
I think you're going to do fantastic. I mean, you know how much I love you and how proud I am of you. But since we're coming up to the kind of end here, is there anything that you wanted to say?
I want to say thank you. I mean, thank you to everyone that has supported me. I hope you will continue to support me. I think one of the scariest things about leaving the chamber is that, you know, I have all these relationships that I've built over the years that are so important to me. And it's like, my heart is so big. I can fit everybody in it. I love everybody. There's never been a point where I'm like, I have too many friends or I have too, I every year I meet new people that they have such a special place in my heart. And what scares me about not being part of the chamber anymore is that now I don't have a reason. Like Joel, we technically have no reason to engage anymore because you're not part of the bid.
That's cool.
I know, but you are my friend.
I'm like, that just
And
got
your
weird.
relationship, your relationship is important to me. And so I think it's really going to be up to me to continue, me and you, to continue our relationship together, to continue to support each other, to continue to be, you know, connected. That connectivity is so important to me. So I just want to say thank you. And I'm not going far, and I'm still going to be around. And I just appreciate these relationships I've built and the friendships and the mentorships, some of the tough love that I've gotten over the years. You know, I think it made me a better person. This is a tough job. This is a really tough job. You have to be good at everything. But I've had so much amazing support from people that did not have to help me, that stuck their neck out for me all the time. And I never wanted to disappoint them, and they never wanted to disappoint me. And it was just this beautiful, dance that we did. And so I feel so blessed. And I'm so grateful that, and I said this to the executive board, that the executive board in 2006 took a chance on a 29-year-old kid that had no clue what she was doing and gave me this opportunity, because it's been one of the most amazing growth experiences of my life.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. So I'm going to actually.
Cue sad music.
I know, right? Well, actually, I'm going to get sappy on you for a second, because this is going to be, we're about to sign off from the episode. I want to thank everybody who's watched and been a part of this whole Binge Live experiment. It will be keep going forward. Next guest will be Chad, so we get to grill him on what he's going to do with the ruling of an iron fist, because he's tough like that. But I'm going to speak for everybody, even though I shouldn't. We love you, and we are so grateful to have you in our lives, whether it's through the chamber, personally, professionally, whatever the avenue was. Thank you for everything that you have done for us. Thank you for everything that you have done for the chamber. And we just love you to death. And we really hope that you know that. And
thank you. Let me say one last thing. I know that you're going to close on that, but let me say one last thing. It is so important that we continue to support Kelly, Chad, Judith, and whoever comes in as a new person.
Most definitely.
You know, they have done a phenomenal job, and it's never easy to lose a leader of an organization, and Chad will be great, but continuing to support them, continuing to be part of this organization, continuing to engage and involve, like that is what makes great chambers. It's the people. And so keep supporting, keep being involved, keep giving back to your community. You say it, I say it. When you give to your community, you receive in, you know, you can receive financially. I mean, if that's business leads, things like that. People in this community are about relationships. And so keep supporting.
And I believe everybody will. Like you said, you created an awesome team. It is now moving on to another chapter. It is still the same organization, but with it's just evolving. That's all it is. And it's up to all of us to continue to be a part of it. And it will continue, and it will still be incredible. So again, thank you for everything that you have done. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your guidance and your leadership. And I don't know what else to say, but we all love you to death, and we'll miss you.
Well, I think on that note, we should sign off.
Mwah.
Take care.